Namaste Galactic Family, Diamond Sun Hearts. Welcome back to my channel, IndigoAngel. Welcome if you're new, welcome if you're returning. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you can continue to receive my messages. Smash the like button and comment and share this video so others can find out about my work and so others can benefit from the information that I'm going to present in this cosmic update today. And as always, thank you guys for your continued love and support of my channel, Cosmic Blessings. And I just want to give a special thanks to everybody who has donated to my GoFundMe. I am doing a GoFundMe, which I haven't really announced on my YouTube channel just yet. I don't want to make it a huge, big deal, but I did put together a nice video for it. So if you want to go and check out what I'm doing, see what I'm up to, what I need the GoFundMe money for, I would love to have you hear my story, as what I am trying to do is going to benefit star seeds from all over the world. And so any donation to this big project that I have going on is greatly appreciated. So again, thank you so much if you donated. And yeah, guys, cosmic blessings. Today is June 10th, 2021, and we are right at a pivotal point of these Orion Stargate grid activations. As many of you know, I just put out an Orion Starseed Origin reading yesterday for those who are really working through the thick of these heightened Orion templates at this time. We do have that solar annular eclipse today that is going to be at 19 degrees 47, which is the direct culmination to Betelgeuse in Orion. And so we are going through a major global clearing of darkness that is coming through today. I have been seeing Green Tara particularly bringing forth the return of the Emerald Order. I seen her last night come through the Sophia Code, bringing forth that emerald flame in her hands, and also coming up through her entirety of her astral field. So the energy is really strong. And she does have some divine messages today that I want to transmit at the end of this cosmic grid update. I also was originally guided to go out in my backyard and actually film this update outside next to the biggest, most greenish tree in my backyard, but essentially it just started pouring rain right now, and it's a very thick, humid rain. So I couldn't get out there with my electronics essentially, but I do want to get out there to film at some point. I just have the most beautiful trees, the biggest trees in my backyard. So I'm excited to put together a video out there at some point. But because of this clearing, I was guided to really actually light some sage for you guys and for myself as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do that because I have been called to do a sage clearing for today's eclipse. There's just so much going on, you guys, and I'm going to really dive into the thick of it as I get into this update. But I just wanted to burn this with you guys. Don't want to light it too much because then I'll get really smoked out in here. But yeah, I just really felt the planetary clearing coming through this Betelgeuse window of perception, and there's just a lot that's clearing, especially with the Green Tara energy and the Emerald Order that's being reactivated through what I was seeing, the sacred blue cow grid in India. And this is the guardians to the Blue Ray family. So the Archangel Michael family, these would be your guardians essentially. So there's a lot that's being transmitted right now, and there's a lot of healing and a lot of reabsorption of global darkness that is happening right now. And so as we move into the summer solstice, we're just going to continue to really clear that energy as it absorbs back into the dark stones on the earth, essentially. But I'm going to explain more of that in this update. And I did really explain a lot of that in the Orion update as yesterday as well. But I also was talking very quickly. So today I'm going to kind of slow down and explain more of that in detail for you guys. So my sage is still kind of burning over here. And I have my candle back here, my new Serpent base that I got. I actually ordered this off of Amazon, but I thought it was just so cute. And I love burning candles when I do readings. So I like having the symbolism of the energy that's within my field. I am Hydran. I am a part of the Serpent lineage. And so if you haven't noticed on my channel, a lot of my perception does come through that desire to want to deconstruct demonization. That really is what the Hydra mission on Earth is about. If you are a part of this soul collective family, if this is a part of your cosmic identity, you will always have a longing and a calling in your life to deconstruct demonization and polarization and delusions essentially on the earth. So that's really a part of my mythology. And I really feel that's what the serpent represents: immortality, shedding of the skin, and essentially always in a state of regeneration, always in a state of constant transcendence and into the next. And so it's a very expanded level of consciousness to tune into the Hydra encryption and what this cosmology truly means on a personal level and also on a global collective level. It's a very hidden, it's a very unseen, untapped energy because of all of the darkness and all of the shadow that has surrounded it so much by particular activating overlays that are currently running right now. The Aquila grid right now is expanding into the global energy field right now. And we're teetering on its right and left wings, essentially. And that's kind of some of the control mechanisms that it uses for global mind control, is by using this perception of polarization. So I'm actually kind of sweating. It's just so humid today because there's been so much rain here, but it's very, very green and it's very full of life. I have little lizards actually that are crawling outside of my front door every time it starts raining because they're trying to get out of the wet. So if you open my front doors, you'll see little lizards crawling around. But yeah, very green for the green Tara Emerald order that's activating on the planet at this time. But essentially, the most highly activated Stargate sites on Earth at this time are the Orion strong-held gates. So that's what is blowing up the grids right now, which I have discussed over the last month in detail in several of my updates. Essentially, the Kaaba, the Temple Mount, the Sinai, and all of the other locations within the Gulf of Aden. This is where the Earth itself is really clearing the most, is the magnetic absorption from all of these stargates, and it's coming from this location of the Earth, which is the central pivotal point really to the central vertical ascension column pillar of the Earth, the most middlemost location of the Earth, and also to some of the original deserts that are the timekeepers of Earth, which I'm going to also get into in this update. But not only the strong-held Orion Stargate sites are activating, also Angkor Wat's. This location is really going through some major meteor extraterrestrial activations, because this is another site similar to Mount Shasta, which I've talked about in the past, that is a very transcendental site. Angkor Wat's is also a very ancient transcendental site, working similarly in how it is absorbing darkness, absorbing chaos, opening up what are considered 108 portal passages into the most ancient Earth records. Angkor Wat is so old, you guys. I want to even estimate that it's 1,000,000 years old, which would defy all like human ancient records of existence on this earth. But I'm going to kind of explain why I think that towards the end of this update as well. But essentially, it opens up those Lemurian ancient equatorial records, which is where the timelines in the Akashic fields of Lemuria actually infuse the grids. So I'm going to explain more about that as well. But essentially, Angkor Wat is another site globally that is doing a lot of the clearing and the cleansing. So I'm kind of just going to jump all over today for this update, as I usually do in this bizarre galactic multidimensional world, because a lot is happening here. And so when you're looking at the global grids, you're looking at all the Stargate sites, you're looking at all the ley lines, all of the sacred sites, there's many, many happening simultaneously. And so sometimes it is hard to just zero into one thing. So it kind of allows me to bounce around a lot, essentially. But what I'm seeing the most is we have this iridium metal-based element coming into the quantum picture. Okay, this is happening because a lot of these metals are really where the cratorial sites of the Earth are being called to activate more plasmatically, more alchemically, more magnetically in the metal-based aspects in the landmass globally that basically enhances the sacred site activations in which they are transmitting from and inducting and clearing and cleaning and healing the earth, similarly to what I just explained Angkor Wat is doing. But these cratorial systems are doing it as well. And this is a grid update that I have been seeing I need to put together for some time. And a lot of this wisdom has always really come through my Hindu accounts with particular deities and idols. I did actually put together a Kali activation at the Kali craters in Estonia. I think I did that last June. I'll leave the links in the description to this video, but essentially, there's a huge story behind the 9 Kali craters in Estonia as well. And I've been seeing this cratorial grid update that I need to do for some time. I just know this is going to be a massive grid update. And it's going to take a lot of research that goes into it. So I've obviously been procrastinating for a year now on this one, but I am going to the Serpent Mounds in Ohio for the summer solstice. So I will be transmitting some updates there. And so as we get closer to that, I'm hoping that more pieces to this puzzle are just going to start filtering in. But essentially, many sacred sites themselves all over the world are built upon crater sites, such as the Serpent Mounds. The Serpent Mounds is built upon an ancient crater. And most of the effigy mounds globally, which is known to contain massive amounts of iridium. So at the Serpent Mounds, I do believe there's a form of black iridium and dire crystals under the grounds here, which is why I'm so excited to go. This is a crystal that has been calling to me for some time. I haven't actually got one yet. If you were to actually purchase this crystal, it's a very expensive crystal. I had a girlfriend in my Diamond Sons group who did send me a link to one that wasn't too bad in price, but I have been seeing them up to about $1,300 for some of the smallest pieces of this type of crystal. So it would be very interesting to work with this crystal and also do a crystal induction using this crystal, knowing its platinum powers that it actually has, its extraterrestrial powers it has. So this would be a very ultra terrestrial attunement to work with this crystal. So trust me, guys, I really, really want one of these. And I will get one in my divine timing, I'm sure. But essentially what I've been seeing is the Kaaba, which I spoke about in my last big update that I put out. In the corner of the Kaaba, in the corner of the cube, they actually have a black stone in the corner that's surrounded by silver metal. So I'm going to actually show you guys a picture of this on a screen share here. I kind of pulled up some things that I wanted to share with you guys today, but this is essentially a video of this stone in the corner of the Kaaba. It's just a quick video, but it's kind of zoomed in real closely and comes out and shows that silver metal that they have around it. I can play that again for you guys if you want me to. But this is said to be extraterrestrial and from a meteorite. And so essentially, it's not only lined, the Kaaba is not only lined with that platinum power, that iridium platinum power base, internally with 3 pillars. So I'm really wanting to do a remote view of the Kaaba, put together a video for this, but what I've been noticing is over the last week, as we've been going through these Orion activations and as I've been tuning more and more into this sacred site, not only was I experiencing ascension symptoms and new downloads and new shifts in my geometry, essentially, that was making me feel somewhat tired and somewhat just bogged down. But essentially, I really felt that it was the more that I aligned to the Kaaba itself, the more sick that I started to feel. So I just know that that has to be a very careful remote view. Definitely have to go into it being very prepared energetically and protected, because I think what I'm going to feel and what I'm going to find in there could actually potentially make me very sick. And this was just from aligning to the Stargate area and the base and the location around it. This is not me fully remote viewing into the Kaaba itself. Okay, so I have to see how I want to approach that. I may want to do it because I am interested in understanding deeper, more of the energies that it contains and possesses, just for scientific research alone. Remote viewing is scientific research because your intuition is your most powerful guiding force that we have. So intuition is the basis for all sciences, essentially. There is a reason why people are guided to look further and study things more in depth. But essentially, it's not only aligned with that iridium platinum power base, but essentially that black rock I just showed you in that video is said to originate from the Wabar crater sites in Saudi Arabia, which is called Atlantis of the Sands, which is where the discovery of frankincense originated from the lost city of Ubar. So I'm just going to show you guys the location of this as well. Okay, where do I have it here? So this is the Wabar crater here, very connected to the area of the Kaaba, and also just a lot of the sacred sites here in Saudi Arabia. But essentially, this is the empty quarter here, and this is the site of the meteorite impacts that were discovered in 1932. They probably were discovered a lot earlier than that. It's just this is what's being, reported essentially. But this may be a powerful location site to the original Atlantis, which I know many feel that the original Atlantis also may be the Eye of Sahara in Africa. And I'm not really ruling that out either. I also feel very called to that as well. And so, but essentially why this also could be potentially is because Atlantis of the Sands would make sense as timekeeping on the planet is governed by the deserts and also by Orion. Okay. And so here we are, standing eye to eye through a solar eclipse to Betelgeuse, and this information is coming forward. So it just further confirms what I'm seeing psychically into a lot of this. And it is said that site here, that it was actually destroyed by God due to sin. Okay, so here we are going through this major global clearing of dark energy, and this area comes up as well. And this really makes me think of the Luciferian rebellion and the fall of Atlantis. Like, this was destroyed because of the sin, maybe the original sin. But maybe also that Luciferian rebellion in Atlantis. I did do a video on this a while back, somewhat highlighting aspects of how Orion was governing time. And this was on mummification and technologies that were gifted to Egypt through Orion, through mummification, that this was an element providing some of the Earth timekeeping records. So I'll leave a link in the description to that video if you guys want to check it out. This was one that I think I did about 2 years ago. So it's interesting because I do somewhat forget about these things as I move on to other topics and other happenings and other global grids, but the same initiations always seem to come back at the same timing. And so that's how I know I'm on to something. But essentially, this cratorial element, alchemical connection, these enhance the sacred sites with heightened magnetic fields. So it's said that at the Kaaba, that airplanes actually can be pulled out of the sky, and they can access different dimensions at these particular locations. So like an airplane would be coming by and it literally would just be snatched out of the sky. This would most likely occur on lunar alignments such as new and full moons. And, you know, have you ever wondered why the Muslim national symbol is a crescent moon? The original idol of the Kaaba was a lunar god named Hubal. So there's a lot of these connections, but it is because the cratorial force, the magnetic field, is also enhanced here at the center of the Earth, particularly if that Stargate site, what I'm calling an Anunnaki Stargate site, is enhanced with that meteorite rock. It's already a highly magnetically charged area because between Jerusalem and Saudi Arabia, they are the lowest sea level in terms of how close the land is to sea level, like the density of the land, essentially. And so I actually did a video about this with John Shaughnessy describing this atmospheric exchange and the possibilities of how and where, in which type of planetary alignments that planes would be pulled essentially from the sky. So I'll leave a link to that video as well in the description. But essentially what I'm seeing is globally that there is just a black crystal activation in the landmass that's taking place at sacred sites and meteor sites all over the world that is generating on a quantum scale at particular locations that hold the highest count of black crystals, such as the Yucatan with high obsidian count. So I want to say that areas like Mount Shasta, which is where a lot of Andara crystals come from, so there is a lot of black crystal there, a lot of iridium black crystal, Angkor Wat's, and also the Yucatan with that massive obsidian rock base, that these would be where a lot of this reabsorption is being directed to. Also the crater sites all over the world with that high black metal and crystal power. And so these craters are said to have the highest count of extraterrestrial matter on Earth and the most magnetism in the particle fractal fields. So this may be being used as access point for new gods, old gods, royal gods, Orion, Nibirian royals, and also unknown gods, and also star seed seedings to transport into the Earth's race morphogenetic field. which I always felt that star seedings actually did originally come through lunar gate systems. Not saying that these particular meteorite crater sites are lunar gates, because I did do an entirely other update on lunar gate systems that would actually be at the low and high tide points on the Earth, which may be where some of the original inception came into the planet due to the relationship with the moon. Which I get into explain in another video. I'll leave the link in the description to that one as well if you want to check that out. But where I'm kind of making some of these conclusions. So if you look at India, okay, and you look at the still standing temples, not the desecrated ones that were converted to Islam, because they probably removed the lingams in there. But if you look at the most ancient still standing temples in India, they are using advanced Stargate opening technology, using specific dark crystals that may have originated from cratorial sites. So it's interesting that I've continuously made these connections from Hindu gods to meteorite sites, starting with the Kali activation that I did over a year ago. That a lot of this is coming through this. It's said that Shiva himself actually came through a meteorite type pod. Okay, so these advanced Stargate technology that they're using in these temples from rocks from cratorial sites that have high elements of platinum metals and also basalt. This is how the gods are basically coming into the earth. So basalt is used because this is also a very high powered magnetic rock. And what they're doing this through is this technology is through something called a lingam. So I'm going to show you a picture of these lingams. That's not a good example because that's a bad picture. Let's see if this picture will just show us. Okay, so this is kind of what these lingams look like. And these are like cylindrical structures standing in a circular base. And they are, the very first one ever discovered was under a Shiva idol. That's over 12,000 years old. Let me look at my notes because I actually had the original Shiva temple where the very first lingam was discovered. And this was in the Gudimalam temple. This is the oldest Hindu temple in the world. And this is where there's actually large underground areas here that connect to 9 different passageways, 9 secret doors that are hidden and swing open. And so this is where the actual main Shiva, oldest existing idol in the world, is located. But essentially these lingams are underneath it. So Shiva is said to be an extraterrestrial being, descended from the heavens, from the stars, similarly to the story of the Anunnaki. And I did kind of go over that with you guys about how I felt that the Vedic texts predate the Sumerian text by 2,500 years. They say that Shiva came from the planet called Lokha, and he came out of a pod that looks exactly like this lingam. So most of these lingams are made from stones, from meteorites. And I didn't realize, but these lingams are underneath most Hindu temples. So this is ancient Stargate technology that they've been using to bring through their idols, to bring through ultra-terrestrial and extraterrestrial intelligence, essentially. And these lingams are advanced Stargate opening technology through electromagnetic induction techniques. So what they do is they crank the lingam in collaboration with running water. So running water has to be nearby. So what they do is they create a labyrinth base at the bottom of the lingam. So this is very Hyderian, if you ask me. I really feel this comes from Hydra. this information, this download to the Hindu people to do this technology came from Hydra. I mean, if you think about a labyrinth itself that is at the base of these lingams, this is the coil of a snake, essentially. But so it's very Hydarian, if you ask me. But if they use the lingam in collaboration with another black crystal stone that they use, so they get another black crystal stone and they carve out the center of it and put a frequency device inside. So they run water, turn the lingam, and use this black crystal stone carved in the center with this frequency device, essentially. And they do all three of these cohesive techniques underneath their temples. And essentially, they are opening up portals inside these temples to bring through their gods, extraterrestrials, ascended masters, deities, idols from higher dimensions. When they do this, when they do ceremony to do this, what happens is birds literally flock around the temples in synchronistic patterns as this happens. So this is a call. This is a call to a frequency scale that the avian soul groups on the earth can hear. And these are ancient secrets that have been hidden for over 2,000 years. And this is Stargate opening technology, like literally tangible Stargate opening technology. And what I didn't realize is that in Angkor Wat in Cambodia, they have 108 of these lingams underneath the temples. So it's pretty amazing, guys. Let me see here. And what I didn't realize is that in Angkor Wat in Cambodia, they have 108 of these lingams underneath the temple. So they are using a massive amount of Stargate opening technology here, right? How would they have that technology underneath the temples of Angkor Wat? And Angkor Wat, I mean, all of this may have originally came from the Lemurian timeline, or even prior to that, that there are records of root races beyond the Hyperboreans that of ancient advanced civilizations, particularly because Angkor Wat sits on that old Lemurian equatorial plane, which I do feel that this is here prior to Lemuria. I've talked about the pole shift tilt being at a different angulation at that time. So if you can fathom the idea that these temples may have escaped the flood, they may have escaped the deluge or the delusion, and they withstood the flood, that those temples might be 1 million years old. Angkor Wat itself has carvings all over it, not only having ancient advanced Stargate opening technology underneath it, but all over Angkor Wat are carvings all over of prehistoric animals. So how would these be there if the people who created Angkor Wat, if they were even human? It might have been an advanced race of artificial intelligence that actually came at this time and designed this. If you look at the architectural structure of Angkor Wat, it is nothing like the temples in Saqqara. It's nothing like the pyramids in Saqqara, the pyramids in Giza. It's nothing like Mayan archaeology and structure. This is very unique designed archaeology. And when I look at that, I get a feeling of something that is not of this world. And so what I'm talking about with the historic animals, there's these prehistoric animals all over the carvings there. So if the people who created Angkor Wat, why would they have drawn animals such as the four-tusked elephant or another species of prehistoric animal called the hyenodon? Why would these be drawn all over the temples at these archaeological sites if this temple hadn't existed at this time. How would they know that, right? So this definitely defies anything in archaeology, and archaeologists don't want to admit these things because essentially they don't have any type of proof. But just because they don't have proof doesn't mean it didn't happen or didn't exist. So what I'm saying is, if globally the black crystals, the black iridium, and the platinum metals are activating, and we're going through this clearing through the Orion stargates and filtering into the other major activation sites on Earth that are carrying these iridium, these platinum, these metals, these meteorite type chemistry, then so are the lingams in these temples. All of these are being activated and are going through a reabsorption process similarly to all of those sites because they're carved from the same stones. So this is a massive global clearing of darkness today is what I'm seeing overall planetarily. This is some of the mechanics on a global grid level as to how and as to why I feel this is actually happening. I feel there is a planetary global sin that is washing away, and it literally pours rain outside of my front door right now, you guys, as I say this. It is literally just coming down. I don't even know, you might be able to hear the rain in the background, but this is what I feel is clearing. What I see psychically as clearing is historical, ancestral, Akashic planetary records that are clearing the bloodiest and the most outrageous acts of ethnic cleansing on the earth. This is the real pain of our times of existence. This is where global trauma is seeded into the landmass. This is where collective global trauma is healing and reabsorbing back into the planet. And we are going through major global reabsorption, transmutation, transcendental processes at this time of this, as we stare eye to eye with Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse holds this in its gnosis, and this is why it's being transmitted at this time. Also, the 21st version of Green Tara is the one that essentially came to me. Okay, and so this is the one who helps in global pandemics. Essentially, I will show you guys this. Sorry, I'm so hot. So my face is like so shiny because it's so hot in here. It's just humid. It's not really hot, it's just humid. But this would be the 21st version of that Green Tara, the goddess endowed with light who replenishes the longevity and life force of the sick. And she's the one who helps in global pandemics and heals the sick. So this pandemic itself is a form of ethnic cleansing, and the ethnicity or the genetic cleansing that they're after are the indigos, are the star children, because they're in the old and the sick and the weak, right? This is a form of depopulation. That's what ethnic cleansing similarly is. It's just a different form of it. And so it's attacking the gold in the body. It's attacking our biological, organic enlightenment within by running more fear-based programs in the earth. So this is essentially more also some of the healing that is being cleansed through this Green Tara emerald flame. And so there has been a call to Green Tara, and I just seen her energy encryption come into the planetary field carrying that return of the Emerald Order. And she says, and she's saying, we are calling on the guardians of India because these are the protectors of the blue ray family. And they brought forth the sacred blue cow grid, which is to heal the distortion that is running in the Aquila grids and the Aquila networks. And what is leaving the earth at this time is the poison of envy and a new realization of accomplishments that are not in vain. Okay, and this is where all of the dark energy, the cabal, all of this is in vain, right? So this is what is washing away. This is what is clearing. And yeah, guys, so this is what I've been seeing, and this is my update for today. I hope that you enjoyed this message, And if you would, actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do some more saging because I feel like that was just a lot to say, honestly. But I do my best to try to get the picture across that I'm trying to make. Sometimes the full picture doesn't even come into view for me until I'm meant to transmit it. And so I'm just going to clear the energy because we are going through that global clearing, and I can just feel it in all cells of my body that there is a new light that's coming into the planet, and Betelgeuse is definitely a star system that is here to do the thick of this transformation. It is the left side of Orion. It is the masculine dominant, or I'm sorry, not the left side. I believe it's the right side. It is the right side. I'm sorry. It's the right side of Orion, which is that dominant masculinity in its highest form that comes to really put its hand down in the clearing and the cleansing of the darkness and the shadow on the earth. So that's what's coming through this eclipse today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this update. And I'm still offering services, of course. I did actually do a Beyond Mystic special that is up on my website, IndigoAngel222.com at this time. That includes a starseed origin reading, a one-on-one Zoom spiritual consultation, and also a JCL removal. That's a package that's been discounted at 10% off. And then with that package, I also include a free PDF of my book, How to Read Celestial Akashic Starseed Origin Readings. And so if you guys would like to look at that package, it's on the front of my website. It's not on the book online button, it's on the front. And also my individual services as well. So if you would like a reading with me, if you would like to do the Advanced Avatar Master Practices session, I would love to work with you. You can find everything at IndigoAngel222.com. Please be sure to sign up for my newsletter, as I put a lot of things out in writing monthly, along with just keeping you more updated with things that I feel are in synchronization to each other with videos and connections and stuff that I make. So you can stay posted with everything that I'm doing. And feel free to join me on Patreon, guys, patreon.com/IndigoAngel. I would love to have you there as well. It's a place where you can actually get discounted sessions with me. So if you want to work with me more on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, I do offer a 44 package, which is the cheapest, most discounted session that I offer, which is 1 hour session once a month, but you have to sign up on my Patreon to get that. So yeah, guys, I love you all so much. I hope that you feel the blessings, the cosmic blessings, and all of the healing on this beautiful eclipse. And I love you all so much. Namaste and take care.